Hi, Jen here from Jen Michelle Coaching, and today I want to talk about how to deal with passive aggressive behavior. I'm going to speak to this as it applies to dating and relationships, but just know that this is really applicable to any scenario in which you're dealing with another human who is being passive aggressive, and how to gently call it out and redirect behavior while encouraging just healthier communication and dialogue between the two of you. For those of you new to my channel, I would love to invite you to subscribe. I release a video Sundays of each week. So let's talk about this concept and behavior of just dealing with passive aggressive people, because when we accept and tolerate passive aggressive behavior, it builds resentment and anger within us, because we are not owning and speaking to what we're witnessing in such situations. And the tendency can often be, when we don't know how to deal with something, to sweep it under the rug. But of course it's going somewhere, and it builds up and builds up over time into a just ball of resentment and anger for many. So let's talk about some ways in which you can handle passive aggressive behavior that just encourages a healthier way. So number one, gently bringing attention to it. And I have to do this sometimes with people. I'll notice it, especially with some family members who have challenges in communication and just speaking up for themselves and owning what it is that they want. So if someone is speaking to me in a way that is passive aggressive, or there's sort of that dig or that needling, that can show up for many of us, a way of handling that in real time is to just speak to it and say, hey, I noticed that this was said a few times, or I'm feeling like I'm sensing some anger or some frustration. Is there anything that I need to be aware of? And you're not being aggressive or mean, you're just calling out what you're witnessing, and you are, asking if there's something that you guys can talk about, just really kind of shining a spotlight on it to open up the doors of communication. This is a really, really powerful way to sort of wake the other person up and create an opportunity for them to be like, oh, wait, maybe they didn't even realize that they were moving into anger, or that they were starting to go into a pattern that was unhealthy. And so it offers an opportunity for things to be redirected and approached from a more conscious and healthy standpoint. Number two, you don't want to identify passive aggressive behaviors and the history of them, giving examples when triggered, right? So you want to always wait for that to settle before reacting and responding to it. So if something is happening and you were just in that flooded state, allowing those emotions to pass and not trying to address everything that's occurred in the last 6 months or whatever from that space of being activated and triggered by it, but really creating some space between you and the other person if that's necessary, so you can trust yourself to settle and speak to the concerns from a calm, deliberate, and centered space within you. This will allow you to feel really clean about the way in which you're showing up, a clear conscience, and to just not build any regret on your side, knowing that you've allowed any difficult emotions to pass first and not take over what otherwise would be a really well-intentioned conversation between the two of you. Number three, asking what the other person may need and respecting and supporting that safe environment. So really being able to be considerate of what their needs are, because perhaps they're passive aggressive because they don't know how to set boundaries, or they don't know how to ask for what they need, or they have their own people-pleasing behaviors that they're trying to address, and to find themselves in new ways where they're honoring what ultimately feels right for them. So often passive aggressive behavior surfaces because someone doesn't know how to speak to what they need in real time. And so instead of, kind of bulldozing over those little hidden cues that we can sometimes see in another, recognize it and respect the space that they may need to identify and speak to what the need is. So really giving that consideration. So for example, if you guys have a conversation and let's say a man says, I need space, or I need this after an argument, or I need this to recalibrate, really making sure that we then respect and honor that. So we are in support of breaking negative cycles and building a new relationship in a way that is sustainable and just filled with looking out for each other and supporting each other and handling things in a new way. And when a partner, or if this is a man, when a man does speak out and say, this is what I need, versus something he would have done unhealthy before by handling it in that sort of needling or passive aggressive way, really being able to call it out and say thank you. Like, thank you for telling me what you need. I really appreciate that. I love that we're trying to communicate in a healthier way, and I can really see that you're giving it your best, and that means so much to me. So really being able to speak to behavior changes that are significant and that allow you both to see that there's a different way of opening up and communicating, one that inspires intimacy and connection versus, inspiring disconnection and resentment to build. So most of us have not been taught healthy communication skills, and so learning this is often new. And be gentle with yourself, and ultimately at the end of the day, we have to teach people how to treat us. And as we embody treating others the way we want to be treated, you can't go wrong. And so really increasing your awareness to solidify healthy communication and building a new opening for intimacy. Sending you all so much love. If you would like more resources on love and relationships, please check out my site, jenmichellecoaching.com. I have many digital programs there, as well as my Attract Him Forever group list that will be up, and the next cohort will be sometime this spring. Have a beautiful day, and I'll talk with you all soon. Bye.